to steamy Orlando and the 2018 Camping World Kickoff on ABC, presented by Wells Fargo. It's the top-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide against the Louisville Cardinals. The championship chase begins anew for the defending champs. Alabama top-ranked, Louisville opening a new era as big underdogs filled with belief and bravado. And welcome, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit. Thanks for joining us for season 13 of Saturday Night Football on ABC. And Kirk, the beginning of our 23rd year together on fall Saturdays. Man, time flies, doesn't it?
It's awesome. And more college football finally, the opening weekends here.
Yeah, if we've learned one thing in all those years, no foregone conclusions in this sport. There were some stunners and some near stunners this afternoon.
Man, watching the Appalachian State against Penn State game, a classic example. You're going back and forth. Maryland, second year in a row, knocking off Texas. We had a great game with Washington and what they did today against Auburn. So some great games and some big surprises, as you said. I mean, you just never know with this sport.
It's a busy night. We will keep you posted. Right here, the sunset in the west, and Alabama arrived as the preseason #1 third straight year, trying to continue the best 10-year run in the history of the sport. Of course, the question of who's going to start at quarterback was ignited the way last season ended, because Tua Taigavaloa came off the bench in the championship game, and he threw a touchdown pass to win it, replacing Jalen Hurts, who was ineffective in the first half, and that sparked, I don't know, what, about 9 months of talk about the quarterback position. Would it be Tua or Jalen? That's all people want to know.
Yeah, and even on the field before the game, talking with Nick Saban, he still was kind of being very, very close to the vest and really didn't want to talk much about it. My feeling is this: the ability of Tua to process defenses quickly and get the ball out quickly fits this particular offense perfectly. So I'll be shocked if Tua doesn't have a chance to come out here and be the starting quarterback tonight for this offense. He's made it very clear, Nick Saban has it, there is a place for Jalen Hurts in this offense. So I think Tua's going to start, and I think you're going to see Jalen at some point come in, because the guy's 26-2 as a starter, and he can bring a lot of things to the table as far as creating, running, and throwing the ball down the field.
Yeah, certainly a plan to use both, and the players supposedly know what that plan is. We'll all find out together. They took on a Louisville defense that's got a whole lot of new faces, and that means the Louisville offense may have to score a lot of points tonight, and they're replacing, of course, the most decorated player in Louisville history. Lamar Jackson is with the Baltimore Ravens. He was Mr. Everything. Dynamic thrower, runner, led the league in rushing yards, and really centered around him. So now Kirk, with most of his offensive line back, receivers back, a brand new quarterback also making his first start, Jawon Pass, with the huge shoes to fill.
Yeah, and speaking of huge, he's a very different style of quarterback, more of a prototypical drop back, 6'4", about 230 pounds, can move around, but really prefers to sit in the pocket and throw the ball down the field. And an interesting, I think, kind of a side story here is Louisville brings a trio of receivers back from a year ago, incredibly talented group, and Alabama's breaking in an entire new secondary. In fact, they lost their top 6 from a year ago. So will Puma have an opportunity to throw the football to those receivers against a brand new secondary from Alabama? By the way, they're pretty talented. They're just, a lot of them are inexperienced in the back end for the Tide.
And there is that bravado. They made some comments that they took note of in Tuscaloosa. Bobby Petrino says his Arkansas teams never used to believe when they took on the Crimson Tide, took the field down 2 touchdowns. He's hoping his guys believe that a stunner is in the air tonight in Orlando. Great to have Maria Taylor with us for another season on Saturday Night Football. Maria.
All right, Coach, the one question everyone wants the answer to is who's getting the first snap at quarterback?
It's going to get answered here in about 30 seconds. So don't you love the suspense? I mean, for 30 seconds, I think everybody should just wait.
Okay, well, what's going to determine who gets the snaps moving forward as the game progresses?
Well, we have a plan for how we're going to execute. We think both guys can be weapons in the game for us, and we're going to try to utilize them both out of respect for what they've done for us in the program here.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
A little more suspense, guys.
Oh, he holds the cards to the last possible second. We'll tip the hand, though. It was Taigavaloa out there taking the warm-ups a second ago, and we'll find out, as he said, in about 30 seconds, because Alabama won the toss, and they want the football right away. Start one for the man who was the most valuable player of the national championship game in Atlanta. Evan O'Hara to kick it away. Josh Jacobs and Trayvon Diggs are deep for Alabama. We got to look not just at the Bama offense, Kirk, but this Louisville defense that has lots of questions to answer.
What a tough way to get things started.
Yes.
Because there may be some questions about who's going to run out there quarterback. We tend to think it's Tua, but there aren't a whole lot of questions around that quarterback position.
All the questions are on the Louisville defensive side. It's a returnable boot. Now it's going to be out of bounds, and the flag is thrown. So the mental mistake right off the bat, and the Crimson Tide will get good field position.
Yeah, not exactly the way you want to start the 2018 season for the Louisville special teams. We look in that huddle, and as he said, you can wait 13 seconds. There's 13. And I said, if he trots out on that field, I just feel sorry for defenses trying to defend this offense.
11 touchdowns on 77 attempts last year. That is scary.
Hear the crowd's approval here, the Alabama faithful, when 13 came trotting out.
A squadron of talented backs. Damian Harris, the veteran, gets the start, gets the ball, slips as he gets the handoff and stumbles forward for 2 yards.
Yeah, and anytime you play Alabama and you get questioned for an entire month, it's almost like a bowl prep. But this is the opener. Louisville's defense with all those new faces. Bobby Petrino, they've been answering questions. How in the world do you match up to Alabama? You're going to come out and play with your hair on fire. Just better be disciplined, because they'll pick you apart if you're not.
Taigavaloa's first pass attempt. No, he spun around and dropped for a loss. Louisville's defensive front, which has got a whole bunch of new guys, storms in there.
Yeah, G.G. Robinson, Chris, right in the middle. Watch him able to move around, use a little bit of a stunt, use some quickness, bounce around. Just a mix-up there with Alex Leatherwood, the sophomore, now playing right guard. Remember, he stepped in the national title and played left tackle, but they have moved him to guard here in camp, and they're just a mental mistake.
3rd and 13. Taigavaloa from the pocket flips it short. This is Harris running and muscling out across the 45. They'll spot it right there for an Alabama first down.
Well-designed play. Mike Loxley and his offensive staff. 3rd down and long. You see Harris there kind of checking, then just kind of leaks out. It may seem like a small thing, but with all that quarterback hype and pressure and build-up, nice, easy throw there on 3rd down. Just checks it down to his back and let Damian Harris do the work.
Cardinals defense was not set at the snap, and Taigavaloa flips it short over the middle. That's the tight end, Irv Smith Jr. Deflating play for that Cardinals defense. It looked like they might get a 3 and out.
You can see that they're changing up their tempos and trying to create a little bit of havoc. Once they picked up that initial first down, Tua right away up to the line of scrimmage and trying to catch, as you said, Chris, that Louisville defense napping.
Lots of pre-snap movement and 3 receivers to the right for Taigavaloa. Fakes it. Slant. Caught. Off and running is Devontae Smith, the man who made that championship-winning catch in Atlanta. And the Tide are set up in the red zone.
Reading this linebacker right here, this is a run-pass option. Etheridge commits down into the box. He pulls it out. You see this all the time in college football. They overload the box, and all of a sudden you got to match up to the outside that's favorable. And there's the run after the catch by the hero of that national championship game.
And from a meet in Louisiana. This looks like a run all the way for Taigavaloa. He's not a runner in Hurts' caliber, but he can certainly scoot with the football too.
Yeah, this whole drive is really why you think Tua fits this offense. How about the accuracy of the throws? The reason that's so important with the talent he has to work with is you put the ball on the money, let Damian Harris make a run after the catch. Let Devontae Smith make a run after the catch, and to have those balls thrown right where they need to be allows those receivers to do that, and then the athletic ability to show you he can run too. It's not just Jalen Hurts.
Tight end Smith motions in. Tua's got it. Spins away, throws to the end zone. A risky throw, caught for a touchdown. There are some flags in late. It was Judy on the receiving end. They may have roughed the quarterback, but Taigavaloa has taken the Tide to the end zone, off and rolling in 7 plays. He is still down, though.
Throwing on the field is a touchdown. personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 17, the 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
It's Dorian Etheridge, who became the first true freshman to lead Louisville in tackles last year.
Yeah, we circled him a little bit earlier. He's right here. Watch him move to the outside, then decides to commit, and then comes in and hits him low. Not only did he get tackled, but his head whiplashed onto the turf. Good to see him. The reaction from the crowd is him jogging off the field. Comes in and boom. His head hit that turf really hard.
Judy, meanwhile, got loose in the end zone. At the DB, Kane pass turned around.
That was a low hit. Dave Kataya up here telling us it wasn't so much how late it was the low initial contact from the defender.
Austin Jones, Orlando native, graduate transfer from Temple, won the kicking job, knocks it through. 7 plays, 65 yards. Taigavaloa 4 for 4, 60 yards and a touch. After almost 9 months of intrigue and mystery and debate, the answer that most expected, Taigavaloa gets the start and takes exactly 3:05 to get the Crimson Tide to the end zone. The penalty roughing him on the touchdown pass means that Joseph Bulivas will kick off from midfield. See if the Tide try to pooch it, pin the Cardinals back. Just put it through the end zone. And the other guy making his first start, Jawon Pass. We said the task was tough against this Bama defense. It just got tougher down 7. Play action. They flip it in the flat, and they've got tight end Mickey Crum wide open. A nice gain across the 35. So Petrino, who says he will not baby this guy. He's not going to ease pass in. Let it fly. Go out, outplay the other quarterback. That's his motto.
That's his personality. I mean, that's who he is. And, you know, you're playing Alabama. You're breaking in a lot of new faces. What are you going to do? Be cautious? Might as well go in there and let your kids know you believe in them.
So a 13-yard gain and no penalty. Pass from the pocket. Flips it short again, and it's 2 completions to Mickey Crum. Tonight's Chick-fil-A impact players.
Well, we know who we want to pick on the Alabama defense. There's a lot of them to choose from. But here with the receivers, we got to focus on Jalen Smith. We talked about him in the open. Big physical receiver. Des Fitzpatrick can get downfield. Mac Wilson. Trayvon Diggs on the outside. He's got to be able to lock things down and be a good communicator. And Mac Wilson, as we said, taking over kind of a leader in the middle of that defense now.
First handoff of the game inside to Trey Smith, the junior out of Mississippi. They lost some running backs, and this is not a big name crew coming in. Smith is a sturdy, reliable guy. Expect to see different dudes carry the ball for the Cardinals.
Yeah, they all bring something a little bit different to the table. And early in the year for the Cardinals, they will have a committee. He is a bigger physical back that does have some speed. The most talented back might be Colin Wilson, the freshman who had the ACL and only played in 3 games a year ago.
Need 3 on 3rd down. And Smith in motion to the left. Bama pressure off the edge. Downfield throw off the fingertips of Smith. It was a wheel route. That's a Petrino favorite. He got a linebacker in coverage. Not quite, though.
Well, not only a linebacker in coverage, you've got a couple receivers that are going to come out here and create a wall, and it frees up the receiver on the wheel route. Watch this pick with the 2 receivers. It makes it a little tougher for Mac Wilson. Not a high percentage throw there on 3rd and short, but actually put it where his running back, Trey Smith, could have been able to not only get his hands on it, but should have come down with a catch. Nice ball there by Puma Pass here.
Absolutely should have made the catch. Mason King to punt to Jalen Waddle, number 17 for Alabama. One of the newcomers on this team is a freshman from Houston, small, very fast guy. They believe he can make a contribution as a returner, as a receiver, and he steps up and makes a fair catch at the 20-yard line. So Tua and the Tide back to work up a touchdown here in Orlando. Josh Jacobs, junior, who's been off injured, ankle surgery in the offseason, now in the ball game. They give it to him, and Jacobs, who was About a 2-star recruit out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. He does not fit the profile of a Bama running back. Boy, when he's healthy, he's very dangerous.
When he's healthy, Mike Locksley and the offensive staff will tell you he's as good as any back that they have. Mike Locksley takes over full-time duties as offensive coordinator calling these plays. Brian Dable, who's co-OC with him, is off to the NFL with the Buffalo Bills. And Locks, who's got great experience being a coordinator throughout his career, was a head coach earlier in his career and came here initially as an analyst, but has a great feel for these quarterbacks and receivers.
Cardinals swarm the backfield and force Jacobs to scramble. He gets the edge, lowers the shoulder, and makes something out of nothing as he gets about 3 to set up a 3rd and short. Michael Boykin came in quickly, but Jacobs reverse field.
I was going to say, you know, this Louisville defensive front was a big question mark coming into this year just because there's so many new faces, but these first couple drives, I know they've given up a touchdown, but I've been impressed with their ability to get penetration. They're getting into that backfield. Now let's see what happens here on 3rd down. Tight man coverage here. That's usually where you see some crossing routes from Alabama.
Tua immediately pressured, sidesteps the rush, takes off, and will make a 1st down with his feet. Ball comes out late. It's loose. No whistle. Heading to the end zone. D. Smith. Signal touchdown, Cardinals.
Well, we're definitely going to take a peek at this to see if the ground caused the fumble. He went airborne, and it's just a matter of whether or not he held on to the ball, because once his elbow or his arm hit the ground, it's when the ball came out. But was it juggling before he hit the ground? Look at the ball.
Throwing on the field is a touchdown.
Yeah, I think he's down. I think he's down.
Yeah, once his elbow hits, the play should be dead.
After further review, the runner was down prior to losing the ball. The ball will be placed in the left hash, 35-yard line, the back of the ball, be on the 35. Be 1st and 10. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 8:47. 8:47.
It's a heavy Alabama crowd, and they approve of that overturn.
And again, I think it's the right thing to do to make the call, leave it to the review booth to be able to look at that, overturn the wrong call, get it right, make sure it's right, and instead of missing the call. You know, I'd rather have that, the way it was executed there is perfect.
Tua, meanwhile, back to work from the 45. This is Damian Harris who breaks free. Damian Harris barreling down inside the 25. First huge play from the Tide run game tonight.
Yeah, the linebackers from Louisville just get lost here, and you'll see a crease off the double team up through the middle here off the left side. Nice block there, and Lester Cotton does a good job. Linebackers to the outside, and Alabama's going fast after the 1st down.
And they flip it in the flat. Catch made by Jalen Waddle, and the freshman with his first career catch moves the ball down inside the 15.
Well, I can't wait to watch more of the true freshman Waddle. Coaches have told us even in camp, they knew watching him on film. It's another thing to see it in camp against your own defense. You give him the smallest of spaces, and he's going to get through and get a lot of yards. They say he's as quick as anybody they have.
Top 5 wide receiver recruit. Houston Private School Player of the Year. And now Harris picks his way. The guy's got a couple of 1,000-yard seasons. It's a rare senior running back who comes back to start for Bama.
Yeah, he's been a great back his whole career. People have wanted to throw other backs out there in front of him. Damian Harris is as rock solid as any football player you're going to find in the country. I remember watching him as a freshman going up against some big players on that Bama defense and just kept going at him and kept going at him and earned, I think, a lot of respect from the Bama defense that year that went on to win a national title. He's a tough kid.
Tied 3rd down again. They need just 1 yard, and Harris slams for a 1st and goal. He's a guy that, remember, altered his diet, got rid of the junk food and the desserts. He's dropped about 10 or 15 pounds, looks very quick.
Yeah, and he could have gone out and played in the NFL. And when you talk to him about coming back, he said, I wanted to be a leader on the team, not just come back for my senior year. He said, I've kind of been a little bit on the back burner. It's my senior year. People looked at me. This is what I wanted. And Alabama fortunate to have him as a leader of this team.
Tide again threatening. Taigavaloa, high throw, tried to get Judy on the slant, too much on it.
Well-designed play. You run the ball, you lull those linebackers and safeties asleep, get their eyes in the backfield, And that's just being one step ahead of the defense by Mike Loxley. Good job of trying to sneak that in right behind that linebacker. It was there, just overthrown that time by Tua.
Harris, by the way, wants a future in broadcasting.
He'd be great.
After some years in the NFL.
Yeah.
Very analytical guy. It's a run all the way. Tua makes a cut and scores untouched. Harris on the block. And the Tide quickly cash in good field position.
And I said if Tua trots out on the field, I feel bad for defenses because they're going to score 45 or 50 against most anybody they play. I might have undersold that, actually.
You get up the estimate?
I think I
55 to 60?
I think I may have to. Their offense is going to be very tough to stop.
So it was the 91st pass offense in the country last year. You're predicting an improvement on that.
Yeah.
Okay, just
yeah, I think so.
If you look at Alabama, their last 5 games against Power 5 teams, they didn't score over 31 points. But they are on that pace tonight. Taigavaloa has thrown for 1 and now run for 1.
Oh, it's Saturday night.
All of us boots it to the end zone, and it's going to be a touchback. Smith in motion, and they hand it off inside, and busting for a nice gain is Trey Smith. Maria?
Well, Chris, you know, Jalen Smith, we saw him getting the penalty called because he's working hard, going deep, but he had an appendectomy on August 1st. It was his birthday, and he actually lost 10 pounds on his way trying to get back to camp. He had to go to the treadmill, then the elliptical, and then work his way back into being able to actually make it to the field. And this is his first time being tackled at all after having that surgery.
I asked Petrino, was that a concern? He said, well, I mean, he didn't feel like he wanted to risk getting him hit in practice, so he kept the protected jersey on. But there's no jersey tonight that's going to protect you from the Tide. Pass immediately pressured, flips it short, and the catch made over the middle by Dawkins. Immediate contact that's right near the first down marker at the 50. And they will place the football down just with the nose at the 50, and it is a first down.
Yeah, Louisville fortunate to get that ball off. A really nice job by Puma Pass. Time Bentley, the center, just did not pick up the blitzing middle linebacker, Dylan Moses. And Pass showing you he doesn't have Lamar Jackson quickness, but enough to get away from that pressure and get the ball off for that first down.
He's a powerful guy, though, isn't he?
He is.
He looks even bigger than 230.
Sure does.
And he tries to test the middle, but the Tide defensive line swarms him. Raekwon Davis and the backer Christian Miller combining. They'll lose 2.
Well, this is a read. He's actually reading Christian Miller, and his initial movement looks like he's going to take the back, but then at the last second, Christian Miller is kind of playing a cat and mouse game. He shows that he's going to go for the back and then immediately collapses down. So very tough read by Pass. He looks like he's going to tackle the back. How about Christian Miller quickly coming off of the back and collapsing down and making that play? That was beautiful.
Yes, Petrino, all those years against Saban's defense. What's the toughest thing? Controlling the front. They're just so good year in, year out at the defensive line. Guys move on, and they get plugged in. Here's a screen in space, and the catch is made out there by Smith, who's knocked down after a short gain by Deontay Thompson. Good call because the Tide were bringing a bunch.
Kind of a quick little wheel. I love that they had both the right guard and the right tackle out in front, McNeil and Becton. Ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage, so even though you had those linemen 5-7 yards downfield, it's still okay.
Guess what? It's third down again, and the Cardinals need 8 to keep the drive alive. Tide bring pressure again. Pass rolls away. He's got a lot of room to run. And Jawon Pass scoots for a first down near the Alabama 35. Not Lamar Jackson, but he can move.
You know what he saw was he recognized right away the pressure right here, and then they lost contain to the outside, and he didn't hesitate. Chris, watch this. Feels it, and then immediately takes off. Sees downfield the man-to-man. Defensive backs have their backs to the quarterback, so he just had to outrun the linebacker to the corner to pick up the first down. Nice job again by Pass.
That would make Saban crazy. Losing contain on a 3rd and long, letting the quarterback run for it. Inside of the final minute of the first quarter. Pass pressured again, flips it over the middle, and the catch is made. Des Fitzpatrick, another veteran in that receiving corps, and they move the chains again.
Boy, this is good job by Tua Pass. Watch the linebackers flow, and then they're going to open up a vacancy back behind them. See how quickly they're getting out and going this way? And here comes your receiver on the backside. He throws that ball quick enough back against the grain, which is tough to do, but because he got rid of it so quickly, it gave his receiver a chance.
So total yards, Alabama 183, Louisville 60, 14-0 at the end of one here in Orlando. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Coming up, the second quarter, 2018 Camping World Kickoff on ABC, presented by Wells Fargo. So Louisville trying to cut into this 14-point Alabama lead, a promising drive as we begin the second quarter. 1st and 15 after the penalty. Can you make a pass so far?
I've been impressed. I mean, he's facing this Alabama defense and he's played with a lot of poise so far in this game.
And up to Day Williams, and he's wrestled down. So tough to test the middle of that tied line, especially on 1st and long.
Here's Tosh DePoy is taking over for defensive coordinator Jeremy Pruitt. He's the head coach now at Tennessee, and he has worked his entire career for this opportunity. You know, he's been known over the years as an outstanding recruiter, has been here and kind of worked to become a more complete defensive mind and understanding the back end and not just the defensive front, and has earned that right to become the coordinator.
5th season here. Pass, chucks it downfield, and it is intercepted in the end zone. Picked off by Deontay Thompson, will bring it out. Thompson has blockers, and now is going to be met and knocked down hard at the 25-yard line. But pass is picked. And the Tide get the football back.
Yeah, Alabama typically likes to leave 2 safeties back deep in case you want to try to throw the ball down the field. Deontay Thompson back there with Xavier McKinney, the 2 new safeties. Remember, Ronnie Harrison has moved on, and Micah Fitzpatrick has moved on. And Deontay Thompson, we saw him play late in the year last year in the championship game.
Najee Harris on the delay, bangs up the middle for 5 yards. Thanks, Cassidy. Irish up by 11. Taigavaloa on a slant in traffic. Nice catch by Jerry Jeudy. Gets out across the 40.
For those of you just tuning in, wondering how things went, this whole quarterback controversy, or whatever you may want to call it, Tua has been the guy from the very beginning of this game, and it has looked outstanding so far. Throwing the football 8 of 11, 121 yards for a touchdown and in complete command. 7 completions in the first quarter alone. You know, Alabama didn't have an entire game last year against a Power 5 opponent where they completed 7 passes in the first quarter. This is his first start. He's already done it.
Low snap. Collects it. Looks downfield. Running free. Jalen Waddle makes the catch inside the 10. The sign of things to come for the talented Tide freshman out of Houston.
Boy, he needed time here because this is a play that took some time. Watch the receiver Jeudy right here work across the middle, which occupies the middle safety. Take the safety away, open up the middle, and it takes time. Good job by the offensive line, and the true freshman extends at 5'10", 177 pounds to hold on to that football.
Finger trick grab in the back of the football. Now Taigavaloa barrels ahead, muscling toward the goal line, and knocked down just short. It is a thing of beauty to watch that lefty spin the football deep, isn't it? Wow.
It was. And what's even more impressive is he follows that beautiful pass up with a quarterback run where he looks like a fullback running over top of the safeties and linebackers almost into the end zone.
Harris reaches, lost the ball, tried to break the plane with the football. It came out. He was able to grab it at the 1.
And D. Smith collapsed down. Both ends on the edge there. D. Smith on one side and Dorian Etheridge on the other, just completely coming down to try to take away that inside run. And actually they were able to get there before the big fella Najee Harris had a chance to get into the end zone.
Got to be so careful reaching that ball in traffic.
Oh yeah.
3rd and goal. 3 tight ends, and Robinson says, I'll find the end zone. The sophomore from Tuscaloosa, one of 4 talented tailbacks. Check it, it's Harris behind Robinson.
Najee Harris follows Brian Robinson. Gets into the end zone. That's 4 drives and 3 touchdowns now for Alabama's offense.
Pure power football set up by that beautiful downfield catch by the freshman Waddle.
258 yards. 11:24 to go in the second quarter. It's a pretty good start.
Yeah. What'd you say? How many points per game?
I'm saying 45 to 50 a game. That'd be a great year for them.
Virgil at the goal line. And he's penned in and knocked down short of the 15. See what they do here. Empty backfield. Pass as the ball batted down at the line into traffic. It's a scrum. Looks like an offensive lineman may have come down with it. Quinnen Williams. And nose guard got a big hand up.
Yeah, he's the second time Williams has gotten his hand up to knock the ball down. 92 right in the middle with that right arm sleeve. Uses that right hand. I don't know if the ball ever hit the ground. Boy, Williams, a player that a lot of times Alabama fans themselves forget about. Raekwon Davis, 99, they talk about. Isaiah Buggs, 49. Anthony Jennings has become one of the leaders this year, this defense, 33. Oftentimes, Quinnen Williams is overlooked, but coaches will tell you he's as good as any of them up front.
Lineman didn't make the catch. He should have let it hit the ground because the catch lost a bunch of yards.
Yeah.
Big fella, what are you going to do? You're going to run through all that traffic and make a positive play?
He's going back to his Pee Wee League instincts of being a fullback. Just could not help himself. How about that blitz that time by Mack Wilson? I keep talking about Jennings becoming the guy. But with the loss of Rashaan Evans and Sean Dion Hamilton, in the middle now you have Mack Wilson and Dylan Moses. And Mack Wilson, to me, late last year, started to come into his own and becoming a very effective middle linebacker. And I expect him to kind of be the leader, especially communicating and getting the right calls in for that defense.
Comes out of that great program in Montgomery Carver High School. Pass from the end zone off the back foot, just heaves it incomplete. Dawkins never turned around. Maria, what do you have?
But here Kirk talking about Mack Wilson. How about every week he's basically meeting with Nick Saban and kind of talking through what he sees on the defense. He knows that this is the leader that's going to be on the field communicating with his defense, and he checks in with them. Mack said he's very honest with Coach too. He'll say he's frustrated. He doesn't like it with the way they're communicating or how they're not lining up properly, but it's something they work through together.
You know, Maria, since Coach Saban has been in Tuscaloosa, they've had 3 Butkus Award winners. Mack Wilson kind of has the makeup and the look of being that next Butkus Award winner for Alabama.
What a monster alpha he was in the playoff. And the interception against Clemson, made 12 tackles against Georgia in the national championship game. Waddle cuts back, breaks a tackle, still alive. And this freshman is going to be an electric returner. You'll see him making plays out of the slot position as well. Just what they need, another big playmaker in Alabama.
Yeah, and the timing of that, the defense gets to 3 and out. They get a punt return, 27 seconds to go, and they're thinking about points again. That's just the thing with Alabama. When you hold up the "We Want Alabama" sign, remember, it's a 60-minute game of body blows. Like, they don't stop. They don't care what the score is. So don't feel sorry for yourself in the middle of the game.
Yeah, Thursday, wasn't it the folks at Purdue, "We Want Bama" sign? You got a little upset with that.
Get out of here.
Get this.
Get that sign. Boycott the sign.
Careful what you ask for.
Yeah. Nobody should hold that. You should be penalized if you hold that sign up.
Well, after a couple of series that did not result in points, Jalen Hurts, Tua back in there now from the 25-yard line. A short field to try to stretch the lead. They got 27 seconds. Taigavaloa steps up, look downfield, now throws underneath, but they hit as he tried to get rid of it to Judy. Now 21 seconds left.
Catches a break there with the incompletion. Clock stops. Of course, they do have all 3 timeouts. No need to try to get it all in one play. You know, you need 21 seconds. The way they execute, you don't have to throw it into the end zone, especially with 3 timeouts left.
Najee Harris is the back. Taigavaloa looks that direction, flips it down to Najee. He slipped as he caught it. He's tackled right there, and Saban will have to spend the first of his timeouts with 14 seconds before half.
Yeah, Louisville's defense ready for that, actually. Not fooled at all.
Taigavaloa from the pocket launches to the end zone. Caught in stride for a touchdown by Jerry Judy. Arm talent that is just magnificent to behold. There's no other way to describe it. You exhaust the adjectives. What a passer.
Yeah, he's just, again, the accuracy. We said it during this debate, when you have as much talent around the quarterback position, you need a distributor. What we've seen in this first half from 13 is his ability to read coverage and distribute the football to the open man. For some reason, Louisville's defense left Jerry Jeudy, arguably the best receiver on Alabama, one-on-one in the slot without any help over top with a safety. His teammates love him. They believe in him. And I think that quarterback debate is over.
Tide chalk up 340 yards and 4 touchdowns. Scoring touchdowns on all but one of Taigavaloa's possessions here. Maria's got Nick Saban.
All right, Coach, 5 series and 4 touchdown scores for Tua. What did you see from your quarterback in the first half?
Well, I think he played well. You know, Jalen had a couple opportunities, and, you know, we still want to see what he can do. So, you know, we're good with it. I mean, I think we made a lot of mistakes. I don't think we run the ball very effectively. We've been a little sloppy at times, especially on defense, so we got a lot to work on.
Yeah, one of your concerns was how your defense would gel. What is the improvement they can make in the second half?
Well, we made a lot of mistakes on defense. You know, they haven't been able to capitalize on them, so we need to get it fixed.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
You knew Saban wasn't going to be giddy.
No.
Lots of problems, lots of things to fix, mistakes.
Heck yeah.
And a 4-touchdown lead.
Don't let that score go to 35, 42, or 49. Then they're really in trouble.
End of the first half in Orlando. The halftime report. Kevin Nagandi, Mac Brown, Jonathan Miller coming up next right after these messages on ABC. And welcome back to Orlando, the Camping World Kickoff. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, and Maria Taylor. Third straight season Alabama strolls in as the preseason #1, and what we saw in the first 30 minutes will only strengthen people's belief that this again is the team to beat. Tua Taigavaloa, the first 30 minutes of this season looking a lot like the final 30 minutes of last season. And after all the debate and the controversy, seems pretty clear that number 13 can play. I thought, Kirk, how can you make a guy that hasn't started a game and played one meaningful half, how could he possibly be a Heisman Trophy favorite?
Well,
no.
Yeah, I think surveys in, and they're off to a good start with their expectations of what he could do. You and I would go to their practices when they're closed. We've seen him all of last year. We've walked away from practices kind of raising our eyebrows like, wow, ball didn't touch the ground when he ran that drill. And it's against Alabama's defense. So I'm not surprised at all to see this. It was at the second half against Georgia when they won the championship. Is just watching him all of last year and knowing what's around him that would allow him to give him a chance to be able to make plays like this.
Well, it was to boot it away. And taken, that's a fair catch made right at the goal line. Ball kind of Louisville running for just 11 yards in the first half. Gained 111 total, and they try it on the ground in the first play of the second half. Maria?
Well, Bobby Petrino says coming out of the locker room, his message to his offense was simple. We are hurting ourselves with penalties. We're doing a great job moving the ball up and down the field, but when it comes to impact plays, we're not executing. Defensively, I talked to associate head coach Lorenzo Ward, and he said we can't get discouraged by the big plays. He says as soon as a big play happens, we start playing out of character. We forget our assignments, and we have to find a way to stay in character throughout the entire game.
There's another handoff as they test the middle of an Alabama defense with Trey Smith. It'll be another 3rd and long. This was not going to be the game that defines, Louisville's season for sure. You got Indiana State, Western Kentucky, then they get into the conference season. They got the Knowles at home. So
no, I think when you take on Alabama in the opening game, it's not always about, especially when it's 28-0. It's not just about this game. It's about competing and fighting and scratching and clawing and growing and trying to get ready for week 2 and beyond.
When you fill in for Jawon Pass, there's going to be all eyes on you, high expectations. Good start tonight, and pass bounces off tacklers again, but he's just spinning backwards, and now he's going to be brought down by 3 Bama defenders inside the 30. There's another flag down. And without that running game, Kirk, they are just starting to tee off on this first-time starter.
Yep.
Holding. Offense. Number 66. Penalties declined. 4th down.
Again, that was Bentley. This becomes a nightmare for the guys up front, doesn't it?
Oh, sure does. Especially they get you to that 3rd down. They dialed up some pressure. They brought the middle linebacker, Mac Wilson. They had a twist. You can see they moved Quentin Williams to the outside. Isaiah Buggs comes in through the middle. He gets home and is able to get to the quarterback, but there's pass again. Tough to bring down.
It wasn't the most egregious hold I've seen in the pit. King with a low punt. Waddle at the 20. Already made one spectacular return tonight. Shows the quick burst and gets out across the 35-yard line. Tide go back to work, up 28. College Football Playoff National Championship Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper will be earned on the 49ers home field in Santa Clara Monday night, January 7th. Semifinals are on the 29th this year. Saturday, Goodyear Cotton Bowl and the Capital One Orange Bowl. Which 3 teams, Kirk, besides Alabama, are going to be in the bracket? Prepared to make that prediction? Damian Harris barrels out across the 40. Now, Saban hates that kind of talk. It's not even Labor Day, but what we've seen on the field here is just a glimpse. I mean, this defense, he's right, we'll have to tighten things up.
Sure. I think most people, before the season started, have Alabama and Clemson in the championship. You know, we'll see in the next couple of weeks.
Exactly, new blood. That would be the 4th straight year in the playoffs.
Well, you know, you want to throw one against the board, or you want to try to think what it's going to be.
Taigavaloa downfield, and it's the tight end, Irv Smith. Throw right on the button. They're set up inside the 30.
Boy, another thing is you're throwing a lot to wide receivers, throwing to backs. Now you throw to a tight end. You're throwing the ball downfield. Each one of these guys runs at a different speed. Each one of these guys has different tendencies when they run downfield. Yet he continues to put the ball on the money. Good effort there by Irv Smith to get his hands underneath that football before it hit the ground.
Good concentration and arm strength. It's a 32-yard gain. Low snap. He fields it. And Jacobs breaks the tackle and scoots down near a 1st down at the 18.
You know, we've talked so much about the skill that this Alabama offense has. We haven't talked a lot about the offensive line. I just want to recognize that the job that Ross Pierce-Baker has done moving to center. He started 42 starts at left guard and has moved to center this year.
To the timeout, 2nd and 1, and it's Jacobs picking his way back into the clear and into the end zone. Josh Jacobs is a popular guy. He's been hurt so often, Kirk, kept off the field by various injuries. His 2nd touchdown at Bama, and you can see his teammates are excited for him.
Yeah, they're fired up for him. It's great to see him healthy, and love to see his tight end, Hale Hinch's 84, blocking without his helmet on. He lost his helmet. He kept going downfield trying to make blocks. I don't need a helmet. I'm just going to hit somebody without the helmet. Jacobs is tough back. Boy, that's your 3rd back. Damian Harris, Najee Harris, Josh Jacobs.
Very, very possible that all those guys, as the extra point is missed. Austin Jones, back in his hometown, the transfer from Temple, missed it wide right, so it's 34-0.
Yeah, he's going to end up bouncing it to the outside, but watch the tight end, Henches here. Does a nice job of coming off the ball, a nice drive block, loses his helmet, but he's not going to give up on the play. He's still looking to try to come up with a block, but Josh Jacobs, his versatility is so impressive. Can catch the ball to the backfield, and well, he's a different back, obviously, when he is healthy.
Well, the kicking competition was a close one. Jones, who grew up here in Orlando, got the job over the man kicking off as Scotty Cochran, the strength coach, is in rare form. He's at energy drink number 4 or 5 tonight. This is part of the new rules. You make the fair catch anywhere, and the ball is placed at the spot it would have been in a touchback. The idea is to reduce the number of collisions that you get on kickoff returns. They come barging up the middle, and it's all they can do to collect the low snap and dodge out of trouble. Rushing the passer, that's the skill that he'll need to improve.
Yes,
for his next level value. And they did have a back helping out that time, you saw on the edge against Jennings.
Yeah, and you know, the reason Jennings and his health is so paramount is, of course, they have lost some players over the years and had some injuries to some of these linebackers as they've been in camp. Yeah. 3 new defensive assistants, new defensive coordinator.
Pass throws it incomplete. It was way behind Day Williams.
That's a lateral. They're marking that ball back about 3 or 4 yards. So instead of being at the 39, they're going to go all the way back to the 32-yard line.
Third down from behind the sticks again. We know he'll be there working with Tosh Lipoi, who's calling the defense for the first time in his career.
I thought it was interesting the way he said, you know, with 3 new assistants from the outside, a new defensive coordinator who was from within, and a lot of new faces in the secondary, he's doing a lot more teaching this year.
Yep. He's always done plenty of teaching.
Yeah, but I mean, not just the players, but he's teaching the staffs.
Flag way after the incomplete pass. It's Tosh.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 47, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
He's
That's
livid
number
now.
47's first unsportsmanlike
That's
of the
Christian
game.
Miller. He is livid.
Well, it was a third down. They got off the field. They pride themselves on getting off the field on third down.
Miller's one of those guys who's a leader. He's on the Players Council, the guys who give feedback to Saban. That's very, very unusual for him.
Yeah, it was just late. It was just well after the whistle. It wasn't vicious. It was just late. Nick Saban, boy, again, he coaches harder, I've always said, when he's up 34-0 than when he's in a 17-13 game.
They get one more 15-yard penalty on third down, he's going to lose his mind.
And him off the field.
Twice. They flip it short. And once again, the catch is made by Dawkins, and he's off and running. Tight ropes down the sidelines, and a touchdown-saving tackle made by Dylan Moses. But now the Cardinals are threatened to get on the board for the first time.
And they brought the blitz. Savion Smith, good recognition. He comes, and once he comes, they get the ball out quickly. You can see the speed of Dawkins. I'm telling you, Deontay Thompson, we keep looking for that next wave of stars in that secondary. You lose Ronnie Harrison and Minka Fitzpatrick. Seen a lot late last year and some tonight of 14. Thompson back there when he's playing center field. He's doing a really good job of reading the quarterback's eyes, anticipating throws, and being able to get there. We saw an interception earlier. He's getting his hands on the ball. He's had a great night back there roaming in center field.
Pass on the roll, flips it back. Catch made by Day Williams. The pursuit is good, and the hit is hard at the 14-yard line. There's Thompson, your guy again, delivered the shot.
Yeah, man, he is feeling it. Great job there by the pursuit of the Alabama defense, running that play down. Joshua McMillan, the junior out of Memphis, got there first to slow him down. But watch 14. I talked about how he anticipates and sees things, and he's not afraid to lower his shoulder and hit somebody either.
6'2", long arms. It looks even bigger than 6'2". You see him on the field.
Yeah, he and McKinney back there at safety look good.
Third and goal. Ball way back at the 13. Pressure. Pass. Escapes. Flips to the end zone. Jump ball. Touchdown. Kamari Averett, the tight end, gets the Cardinals on the board. A touchdown drive prolonged by Alabama penalties. 75 yards in 10 plays. The big assist from the defense. A flag is down. Let's double check if the catch was clean and the feet down. And boom. Does he have possession? Because the foot is clearly down.
It completes the process of the catch. You know, I think he may have got up and spun the ball right in front of the referee. This might be a dead ball foul.
It is a touchdown. Averett did a good job. Strong hands to keep possession.
Okay.
He's got it in the hands. The foot goes down. Touchdown.
Yep.
Touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 11 on Louisville. That is his first of the game.
You're right on it, Cookie. Spun it, and that cost him 15 on the kickoff.
By the way, how about Puma Pass with his first touchdown of the year? Pretty good play. And there's this guy, Lamar Jackson, there, came all this way to watch him. They're one of the first guys to congratulate him. kind of like watching your little brother. He worked with him so much as a starting quarterback, and now to see him take over, that was a great play. Stepping up in the pocket, avoiding the pressure, and keeping his eyes downfield to find a big tight end. It's 6'6" target, by the way.
Ricky, the lefty, knocks it through. So Pass 15 of 27, 183, and a touchdown to go with a pick under heavy pressure. Some tough results this opening weekend of college football. Boy, Saban lit into the defensive backs, and
Sure did.
Boy, the
Touch the point right now.
I'm going to jump on the bench and gather everybody around and drive the point home.
He's still going after that defense over on the sidelines.
His first game as a coordinator. Both coordinators came, as you said, as analysts, then assistants, and then coordinators. It's a pretty rapid descent for both Loxley and Lupoy. Kickoff, because of the penalty, is deep, and Josh Jacobs with a running start fields it. Jacobs, big momentum, bouncing off people. Jacobs into the secondary. A convoy escapes and will take it to the house. Special teams getting involved, and Jacobs scores for the second time tonight.
You go back to that dead ball, 15-yard penalty against Louisville after that touchdown. Moved them all the way back to the 20-yard line to kick that off. I'm just happy to see. If you're an Alabama fan, you've seen Bo Scarborough, you've seen Damian Harris, and how exciting is it for Alabama fans to see Josh Jacobs healthy and showing you and reminding you what he can do. Not only obviously in the backfield, whether he's running the ball, catching the ball in the backfield, or now returning a kickoff, but he is such a weapon to add to this Crimson Tide arsenal.
And the Tide strong in the return game. Been a nitpick. Jones did miss an extra point earlier, knocks that one through. Remember Bama's last kickoff return for a touchdown?
No idea.
Didn't help that he slipped, so it's like
well, you can see
10 and 11.
See the trajectory right there, not going up into the air. It's a low line drive, and here he comes. He's picking up momentum as he catches it. Some good blocks. Watch this. 1, 2, 3. That was the kicker on the last one.
They hit a disastrous play.
Yeah.
Fell down, line drive kick, and then bounced off Jacobs. There's our progressive pylon cam. Yeah, the last Bama kickoff return for a touchdown was in a big moment.
Oh, it was in the don't tell me. It was in a Rose Bowl. It was in the Fiesta Bowl.
It was in the championship game.
Yeah.
Kenyon Drake.
Yes.
Going back against Clemson. Yeah.
Left to right.
Yep.
Opposite sideline.
Our sideline.
Yep. He loves to tell his story. I mean, he's proud of the fact he didn't have a million offers.
It was in New Mexico, I think, or Tulsa, schools like that.
Yeah.
And Alabama got interested, and folks said, wait a minute, maybe this Jacobs guy's pretty good. But before Bama offered no one.
Right. But I love that he's not like hiding from it. He owns it because of, where he is today.
Right after the penalties, they got a kickoff from way back, but this kind of rolls dead, and Burns jumps on the football. Day Williams, first down carry, battles to get just a yard. That's a very good bet. They'll be inspired. Forget what's on the scoreboard after the chewing they just got after the last.
Yeah, I mean, it was a combination of Nick Saban and then Tosh Lupoi. We talked about that, and let's see how they play here after that touchdown, and then after what they experienced on the sideline from the coaches. They don't look at the scoreboard.
The process.
Compete. Still see the first unit, much of the first unit out there.
Pass, heavy pressure, spun down. It'll be a sack and a short loss. Maria?
Well, you talk about not looking at the scoreboard. After giving up that touchdown, Nick Saban gathered his entire defense together and gave them a little something to think about the next time they went on the field. Tosh Lupoi doing the same thing and telling guys, hey, if you don't tighten up right now, you won't play next week. Like, we still need to execute out here.
Arkansas State's next week. Ole Miss on September the 15th on the road is their conference opener. Rebels with an upset win over Texas Tech, one going away. There's underdogs in that game today. 3rd and 11. ISO on Saban. As Pass is pressured again, and a much more inspired Alabama defense. That was big old Isaiah Buggs out of Ruston, Louisiana with the sack.
That was first guess. Like we talked about when they came out on the field. All right, now we're going to see this defense play with a different attitude after the touchdown, and they got him to third down. They got a good push up the middle. You know, Pass has been stepping up into that pocket and buying time when he's gotten edge pressure. This time he steps up into the pocket, and Isaiah Buggs is right there along with Raekwon Davis. Nowhere for him to go.
Just a four-man rush, contributing to the third sack for the Crimson Tide tonight. Jalen Waddle, having seen what Jacobs just did, will not take a chance on a return. Makes a fair catch at the 42-yard line. Jalen Hurts back at quarterback. Najee Harris is the tailback. They fake it to him, and Hurts takes off. Looked like a design run. Gets a nice block on the edge from Ruggs and scoots out. There is a flag down.
What's the NCAA record for flags in the opening game?
On the play. Second down.
Okay, they picked that one up. We're just in one quarter. We had a lot. Hurts, remember, a couple of drives that were empty in the first half. Took over kind of midway second quarter. 2 for 6, 36 yards. A couple of close calls and some potential downfield plays. Harris bounces it. He's a guy that he ran angry against Georgia because he felt like he didn't get that many touches and chances, and seems to be salty out there after the play. And he had a foot injury in camp, which kind of gave Damian Harris the clear edge as the starter in that competition.
Yeah,
he's healthy now.
Yeah, and again, I think they all, much like what we've seen from the quarterbacks, they kind of buy into supporting one another, whether Damian Harris, Najee Harris, Josh Jacobs, or even Brian Robinson gets a chance.
First down inside the 30. Najee Harris. Physical run.
Well, you're down 41-7 with 2:30 to go in the third quarter. And it's hot, it's humid. You're playing Alabama. This really tests this Louisville defense mentally. Who's still willing to throw their head and their shoulder in there and make a tackle?
Doesn't look like much fun at the moment.
No.
Defense in the white shirts. And these fresh running backs coming at you too. All these guys well rested. Harris stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. It's a Louisville team that goes up against heavyweights like Clemson and Florida State in their division. They feel like they've had decent results against those kinds of talented programs. That's the foundation for what Petrino was trying to instill, the belief, the swagger that he felt his Arkansas teams never quite had when they took on the Crimson Tide, but whole nother deal once the game starts.
Oh, yeah.
3rd and 6. Hurts faked the option pitch. It's a keeper. You see his strength as a runner, but he tried to bounce it instead of heading toward that 18-yard first down marker. Didn't get there.
I'm surprised he didn't turn upfield, lower his shoulder, and try to fight for that first down. As you said, he tried to bounce it to the outside. There's no room to the outside, loses his balance.
We're going to see Austin Jones. Lost his grandmother recently. The family's from here in Orlando. Did not come home for the funeral, wanted to, and his grandpa said, no, Austin, you got a job to do. You need to stay in Tuscaloosa, try to win the kicking job. An emotional time for him in this homecoming game. He'd love to knock one through. 50 in his career, knocks one through. So a nice moment for the kicker from Orlando, and he gets congratulated by his teammates. It'll make the Tide fans feel better about the field goal kicking, which wasn't always rock solid a year ago. Shades of the stunner in the big house, except this wasn't a blocked field goal. This was about 500 yards on offense for him. Burns knocked down at the 15. After a block in the back, the Cardinals are backed up on first down. Pass has to escape to avoid the safety and just fires into the bench. He got pressure from Johnny Dwight, one of the backups. And there's 92. Look at that. Quinton Williams is back in the game.
Great to see him back out there. sure the Alabama fans were wondering if he was okay when they had that chop block that was not called. But, man, he has been relentless tonight, whether it's been against the run or getting pressure on the quarterback.
And after that chop block that wasn't called in the scare, and given the fact that it's 44-7, some guys might have said, you know what, I'm good for the night. Wennon's out there still trying to make plays. Day Williams on the deep handoff, muscles for a few yards inside of 30 seconds in the third quarter. And if we're lucky, that'll be the last play of the quarter. It's bogged down, my friend. It's bogged down. There's been a few flags, if you hadn't noticed.
Come on now.
Oh, it's been some dudes down on the field and some flags. It's past 11, my friend. Yep, there's a pass and a catch made. Running out of bounds is Fitzpatrick, and the final play of the third quarter. Cardinals do get on the board, but it is 44-7. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Getting set for the fourth quarter of the 2018 Camping World Kickoff on ABC, presented by Wells Fargo. Pretty bold move by Louisville actually to take this game. I think you wonder the pattern of these neutral field games against Alabama. How many teams are going to continue to put their hand up and say, yeah, I'll take a cut? Duke. Next year. Alabama, that's true. Well, Saban in that time out there in order got in the ear of Taigavaloa, the holder, blew up Thomas Fletcher, the snapper in the field goal, and the special teams coach.
Way to
Pass
go after
over
that.
the middle, and it's an easy interception. Thrown up and picked up by Shaheem Carter, who's got a convoy, and he just might score. Yep, the defense gets in the end zone.
How about his reaction? All right, go for one.
Shaheem Carter comes from Kentwood, Louisiana. He and Devontae Smith, both from the same area. They had a parade for those guys in the heart of LSU country to celebrate the two local kids who were a big part of the national championship. This was the easiest pick you'll ever make.
Yeah, it sure was. Pass with one of the few errors that he's made all night. He just floated that right over the middle of this defense, and Carter's able to step in front of it. Easy play for him, and then showing some athletic ability going down that right sideline for the touchdown. Cool to see Minka Fitzpatrick out there giving him the high five as he comes off the field. The whole team's fired up.
So the special teams touchdown. Defense has taken one back. And the extra point is good that time.
I hope that
Get
snapper
that belt out there. Tied. Half 100 plus one.
You and Tommy have one more week till you put tennis to the side and get back to college football full time.
Big championship weekend.
No, I can't wait. This is a great week for me with U.S. Open. I'm dialed in.
Hassan Hall takes it back and gets to the sideline. Hall is loose, hurdles over the kicker and gets down inside the 40. Pass, puts it underneath. The Cardinals offense is still playing, and this is the guy that you want to see run. This is Tutu Atwell. He's a speedster. He's a 150-pounder. He's from Miami. He played his last high school game on this field, and Miami Northwestern won a state title. And Petrino says, I hope they don't get their hands on him because he weighs 150, but he's hard to catch. And you get glimpses. He's going to be a contributor in the ACC for this offense.
I love to see a guy that played quarterback in high school but has that athletic ability to be able to move to the outside, going to the ACC level. Gives you an idea what a great powerhouse high school program in Miami Northwestern. We've seen a lot of great athletes come out of that
Look at this. That's like almost Lamar-like. Right here in the same field, somehow keeps his balance. They don't pen him in on the sidelines. And, you know, like a lot of teams, as pass fires to the end zone, and it's a touchdown. Caught by Averett over the middle, the tight end.
Second touchdown.
This time, no spinning of the football.
Nope.
So that duo has connected twice as Louisville scores for a second time. But they're recruiting high school quarterbacks more and more and then putting them in different positions.
Yeah. You know, Gary Patterson is famous for doing that over the years. Chris Peterson when he was at Boise State, now Washington, looks for guys like that. I like to see Louisville not giving up. You know, they're still coming down, still trying to execute, compete. It's
all set up by the 61-yard return. You see the total yards here, 509, as they throttle back a bit. Again, if they kept the pedal of the metal, you're talking about maybe a 700-800 yard night if they'd wanted to. That's how dominant they were. But the traps in the SEC are familiar. One thing when you look at Alabama's schedule, the road games that they have are against people like Arkansas and Tennessee.
Ole Miss.
The bottom of the division. They do have LSU November the 3rd in Baton Rouge. Mississippi State visits Auburn, visits the Iron Bowl is November 24th.
No. No.
So what do you mean? No.
Arkansas State.
Well, no.
All right. There's a W. It's a W. Tennessee rivalry. W. LSU. W. Mississippi State could be a decent game. Okay, off week, and then get ready for a showdown. That's the one game of the year, but it's at home that they might get challenged before they go to Atlanta and play Georgia.
This is going to be the 74th consecutive win by Alabama over unranked teams. That is an all-time record. You realize that they have lost one game to teams ranked outside the top 15 in the last 10 years. It was South Carolina in 2010. That was an Alshon Jeffrey, the game day game, I think. That's the only time that a team outside the top 15 has beaten Bama in 10 years. In that same span, no other team has lost fewer than 10 games. That shows you the gap. It's a staggering comparison.
It's called avoiding complacency.
Yes. That's why we have a little fun with Saban and the staff about sweating every detail, but
this is what happens.
Yeah.
It's what happens.
Cassidy Hubbard has the Ford wrap-up show right after the game. We were counting down to the final.
And by the time he gets done with these boys after watching film, they're going to think they lost 51-14 when they show up next week. They're going to take a lot of body blows in the film room.
Look out, Arkansas State, huh?
I feel bad for him. But you know what? He's cool. He'll pull off at halftime. They'll pull back.
He had that training days. He was wearing a mic for about 26 days. And the point was to show that they do have fun, because you see the intensity and you see the hollering. And look, he is intense. But he was trying to counter the negative recruiting by saying we also have some fun at Alabama. It's not all a grind. It's not all hard work. And that show did kind of serve the purpose Saban was trying to get across, that you can have some fun there, but it's really about championships. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they'll go out in the boat once in a while. He likes to try to wreck the guys when they're out there, pulling them around. Takes pride in that.
Fun for him. Well, the Tide rolled as Taigavaloa was just absolutely superb when he was in there. I mean, almost unstoppable offense when number 13 was running the show. Let's get down to Maria with Coach Saban.
All right, Coach, everyone had questions about who was going to start at quarterback when this game started. What answers did you have about your quarterbacks after watching both of them play tonight?
Well, I still like both guys. I think both guys are good players. I think both guys can help our team. All right, so why do you continually try to get me to say something that doesn't respect one of them? I'm not going to, so quit asking.
I hear you. Over 500 yards of total offense. What did you see from the entire unit then?
Well, I thought when we executed and did what we were supposed to do, we played pretty well. We had way too many penalties in the game. I shot ourselves in the foot a bunch, made a lot of errors on defense. We got a lot of work to do for the challenges ahead.
What's the biggest improvement that defense can make then?
I couldn't hear what you said.
What's the biggest improvement that defense can make?
Well, I think just too many mental errors, turning guys loose. When you see somebody running open and nobody's covering them, somebody messed up.
All right, thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Okay, so Coach a little salty. Maria showing her resilience there. Is Saban going to have any fun this year? I mean, seriously, because this quarterback thing is going to linger. He has massive respect for Jalen Hurts. Taigavaloa obviously is a transcendent quarterback throwing the football. In the meantime, Tide off and rolling 51-14 over Louisville. Tonight's game produced by Bill Bunnell, directed by Derek Mobley. I invite you to join us 2 nights from now up the road in Tallahassee. ACC cross-division collision between Virginia Tech and Florida State from Doak Campbell Stadium. The Tide, impressive. Time now for the Ford wrap-up show. Let's go to Cassidy Hubbard.